Welcome to the
No Fake
podcast with your host Jay Rudy.
And Mr. Third Strike himself.
And today, man, we have a special guest. We have Crystal.
In the building.
We have Crystal.
What it do?
Let them know. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself, man, Crystal?
Yes, my name is Crystal Todd, the internet's favorite CPA. I'm out here giving out all the tea that the corporations be hiding from us so we can get our money up.
Facts.
That part.
Y'all notepad.
Hey, man, get the notepad, man. We get
iPhone or something.
Yeah,
Better take notes.
Get what you gotta
yeah,
get.
she ain't playing today.
Don't trust your memory.
I'm gonna learn myself, man. All right, first question of the day. We're gonna get into the. I love that video, by the way. The 4 reasons you're not rich.
Oh.
All right, so we gotta get into that first. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, for sure. So I get annoyed a lot because on the internet everybody's like, you gotta invest in the S&P 500, and if you don't do that, you're gonna be broke. You know, and I'm like, all right. There's plenty of ways to get this bag. And the first step is to know how much money you want to make. Yeah. I was talking to my homeboy the other day, and he was like, oh, all these white people get to just be eating, lunch at restaurants on a Tuesday. And I'm like, first of all, it's not just white people. Yeah. Back that up.
Let them know.
Right? Secondly, I said, well, how much do you think that life would cost you? He's like, no. I'm like, well, that's the first problem. You need to know how much money you have to make so you know what you're working towards. Because what if you're working at a job that doesn't even reach that income? So instead of worrying about the S&P 500 or index funds, figure out what rich is to you first.
I think that's like big because most people don't think about that. If you ask them, I just want to be rich, but how much money make you rich?
Exactly.
You don't know.
And rich in what aspect too? Because you could be rich in a lot of different fields. Because I was actually having this talk with some of my line brothers. Yeah, we talk about real stuff in the group chat now. You feel me? We adults. But so we were pretty much talking like somebody asked. One of my boys said, do y'all feel like y'all rich or successful? And then it was like, one said nah, but it was like really look at what you saying though. You feel me? You just got into your master's program. You feel me? You got a support system. You ain't worrying about nothing when it comes to finance. So you know what I'm saying? So you really got to look at it from different views and different aspects.
Facts. And I was gonna say too, as far as with that concept, did you come up with that concept yourself or
no? So that was actually in the book The 4-Hour Work Week by I think Tim Ferriss. So it was in that book, and when I read it I was like, oh snap, I should make a calculator for that.
So you made a calculator based on that?
Nice. Based off that book I created people's typical categories, your rent, savings account, if you want to buy a nice ass car, a nice house, and you just put all those numbers in your dream life, what would you want to spend? And then I put some math for the taxes, and then it lets you know how much you need to be making. Because it's in the book, but I mean...
People ain't gonna calculate like that.
You ain't even reading.
Yeah, and I'm saying...
Y'all be on YouTube, but that's not enough. Well, grab a book, okay?
And I'm saying, too, with the internet, too, it's so many... gurus, man. How do you choose who's telling the truth or not? It's a lot, man. Because nowadays you can go in a car, you take videos in front of the car.
You know how much people I know that really be they really be doing that. They'll go get a rental for a week, do photo shoots, video, all that, and you think it's theirs, but it's
yeah. How do you
it ain't safe.
How do you
navigate through that?
Yeah. So the thing is, there's always contradictory information online because number one, you don't know where that person's at and where they're speaking from.
Yeah. So,
for example, if you look back at my YouTube channel, I was telling people, oh yeah, I'm so happy that I had Toyota Corolla for 10 years. And I'm so happy, I don't have any car payments, blah, 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 blah. And at that point in life, it made sense. It was good advice to keep, not to be spending. I had a whole bunch of credit card debt or whatever. But now I wouldn't say that. Now I would say, if you want a nicer car, focus on getting that nicer car. Don't try to live in a fixed mindset and scarcity mindset. Try to be more abundant. So it just depends on where you're at and what you're thinking and where you live. There's so many different factors. So I think whatever resonates with you, go and try it out. Don't just take it as Bible and then run with it. You got to test it out.
And it's funny because I've been having a lot of deep talks with my boys. So we'll definitely have a conversation about debt, credit, etc. And because that's something I did a deep dive in, because when I was in the hole, I had to figure out how to get out, and then you learn from it, right? You learn from the struggle. And then I was telling him about, you know, somebody that I was listening to that not everybody could listen to him.
Dave Ramsey?
Yeah, you know,
How you sad.
He wants you eating beans for life, right?
Like, 'cause for him, everything he's saying makes sense. You know what I mean? But it's like, if you don't got that type of income, you can't listen to him, because you're gonna be you're gonna be out of luck for real, because he don't want no loop, like a footprint, and that's pretty much what debt is. It's like a report card for you.
Right.
He's tell you eliminate all that, but if you in the middle class and you work your way up, you need that to get to where you're going.
Yeah. Dave Ramsey have you like sad, because I feel like with Dave Ramsey, like you get to a certain point, then you go on your own. Like you don't just follow it all together, because if you go all through it, you're gonna be depressed. So yeah, Crystal, how you started in the financial aspect?
Yeah, so I started because I failed biology. I thought I was gonna be a dentist. So failed biology. I miserably failed what was it, calculus 2? I was gonna be like a engineer, failed that too. So I was like, oh well. I went to the career center at my college, and they're like, well, just take this exam and it'll let you know what, based on what you answer, what kind of field you'll be into. Okay. So accounting was one of them, and I was like, you know, forget it. Like I failed out everything else. Like,
that's a lot of math too, right?
Yeah, well, people think so, but it's more like puzzle piecing than it is math. Like I don't do anything more complicated than division.
Yeah, like, 'cause
it's just debits and credits, and like it's really more puzzle piecing than it is actual complicated math.
Okay.
Yeah.
People that they think you got to be like a math whiz.
Me too.
All you need is simple algebra, and
you
just got to know the jargon. You got to know the formulas. You got to know what goes where, and that's, like you said, puzzle piecing.
Yeah, it's a different language, but it's not complicated math, but it is still a little bit tricky.
Okay.
But so I did that. I took accounting like 101 or whatever it was called. I didn't mind it. I'm like, all right, I got to be in this one, so I guess we could ride out with this. And then from there I went into auditing. So when the school I went to, they were like, you got to be in the Big Four. And the Big Four is like just the top accounting firms in the world. So I was like, all right, well, let me get into that Big Four. And I was an auditor. Hated that job. It was good perks. I would travel a lot. They paid for everything. I mean, it was really good perks. But I was working long hours.
So it was like more than 40 hours then.
What? Yes. I was working from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. I'm not joking. Every day for weeks. 9 a.m. to 2 a.m.
I tell anybody, if you're in the accounting field, if the buck's not there and you salaried, they're gonna work you like a slave.
Was it salary too?
You know it.
Oh,
that's why. If it wasn't salary, I work 24 hours. I work around the clock. It was salary. That was a problem. People at Abercrombie making more than me. You know what I'm saying? People working at H&M was pulling them more hourly.
It's crazy, because like if you're salary and you're making under 70K, good luck.
They gonna overwork you.
What?
How long you did that for?
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, I did it for 3 years. After I had my daughter, I was like, I'm out of here. This is way too much. So then I left. But it was really good experience. And I think if you're going into accounting and you want to be a CPA, that's a really important step to make, because every other job that I've gotten since then, like that, I had public accounting experience on my resume. So it was helpful for my career-wise, but it was hell. Those 3 years was like,
it's a good start.
It was a lot.
So tell some people like the process and the steps you have to go through to even sit down for your CPA.
Yeah, I heard it.
Because a lot of people don't really understand like what, like, you got to go through the ringer to actually even sit down for the CPA, and then just to take all the exams for the CPA. Me personally, I say it's one of the hardest exams out there. But
it has a less than 50% pass rate, right? So I think it's 47% right now. So less than every other person passed. I don't even know how that makes sense. But so basically, you have to go to college, of course, but then you have to take an additional year of college credits. So you have to have 30 additional credits on top of your 120. Then from there, you can take the test, but you can't get your actual CPA license until you have a year of work experience.
Okay.
The CPA test is divided into 4 sections. It's definitely changed since I took it a little while ago, but it's still the same. Yeah. So it's a little different now, but the same concept. It took me 11 months to pass that test, and I passed it all in the first try, but I took maybe 3 months of studying for each section, because I said I ain't paying for this test. If you work with a public,
is it a lot of money too, or do they pay for it? Like, do your job pay for it?
Yeah. So if you're in public accounting, they paid for it, and they paid for the study materials, which were $3,000. So it was really expensive. $3,000 for the study materials, and then each test was like, I forget how much, but it came up to like about $1,000 after it was said and done. So you owe $4,000 in between the test and the study materials. It's really dense information. I was clocking in to studying. All right, every weekend, 8 hours a day, I was studying. Because I refused to fail. Because if I failed it, then I had to come out of my own pocket, and I didn't have no money back then. So I was like, "We passing this on the first one."
And how long was the test for? How long was the test for?
It was they vary. They were like, I think 3 to 4 hours each.
All 4 is like okay.
Yeah, there's 4 sections. They're 3 to 4 hours each.
And like, what's the time frame for you to take each?
Don't have me lying. I don't remember. I think they expire after 18 months if they start to expire.
Okay. Yeah, you have a total of 18 months. So they give you that time so you can have 3 months in between. But if you do it smart, before you sit down for the first one, you ready studied for that one. So then 3 months. That's how the 11 months she was able to get it through.
And you have to pass all of them?
Oh, yeah. All sections. You have to have at least a 70 to pass.
So you mentioned like your studying processes. We're gonna get as far like to your story. Like explain how big delayed gratification is, because like studying like 8 hours, like I know you didn't have no life basically. Like
no, absolutely did not.
I know that's real important in finance, like trying to get to a goal that you want to go. Can you explain like delayed gratification?
Yeah, for sure. So outside of that was miserable gratification. I mean, I was at the end, I was happy that I passed it, but that was a really tough process. But delayed gratification in general is really important. I think most people do the exact opposite. They spend before they get. That's how you end up in a whole bunch of debt that doesn't even really serve you. Yeah. I personally had $30,000 of credit card debt. When I was studying for the CPA exam, I was also working. I was like, forget that job. I needed to study, but I was really outside. Like I was outside. I was in New York. I was in Tampa with it. I was everywhere. So I was like, so then I just ran up my card. I was irresponsible. So I don't, just because I'm an accountant, I mean, I didn't know what was going on. All right. I was out there spending. I had a credit union that could let you get cash advances. And if you know, you can't get money out of your credit card. But the credit union I was at let you take out the money. Yeah. So I took out $7,500.
But they hit you with that fee
though. No, it wasn't. That's why there was no cash advance fee. Oh. That's why I ran it up. Exactly. Yeah, it was a good day. Life was good, but then I racked up $30,000 because of that. So that was an example of not listening to delayed gratification, right? I was just like, whatever, I'll pay it back, and then I ended up paying I don't know how many thousands in interest because of those mistakes. Yeah. So you don't want to put yourself in a worse position, okay? So that was an example of me doing it the wrong way. An example of me doing it the right way was just maybe you have the money, you could buy it, maybe that new car, that new house, whatever, but you don't. You don't, because when you actually do it, it's going to be so much more satisfying because it's going to be comfortable and it's not going to stress you out. So I wanted to move. Yeah, I wanted to move out of my house. I was sleeping with my daughter. We were like sharing the same room. She was driving me crazy. I'm young. I'm young and I'm trying to, I'm like, she's crapping my style. But I love you. So but I stuck with it for 6 years because the rent was low. I was able to save up so much money. I think I saved like $100,000 while I was in that situation, and I could have left.
That's good though.
Yeah, but I was miserable. I wanted to leave. I was telling all my friends, I'm moving this year, but I didn't move. But now that I did move, I was able to move comfortably. I was able to furnish my house the exact way I wanted to, and it's a nice place. So if I did it too early, it wouldn't have been the same. And maybe I would have been struggling or feeling a little bit more tight. So if you want a comfortable life, get uncomfortable first. Yeah. Because after that, I don't even remember that time. I remember it literally, but it doesn't hit anymore because it's done.
Because there's a difference.
Yeah, I'm past it already. So it was short. It felt long in the moment, but once it's passed, it's passed.
Yeah, it was worth it.
Yeah, and it feels much better than having to rack up debt.
Yeah, most people don't think like that too. So
no, they don't have to, because everybody's trying to throw a payment at you. I was just talking about this earlier. Like, everything has become, make a payment. Before 60 months on a car was like the top of the top. Now I see like 72 months. Things are going out for like 5, 6, 7 years for a mattress. Why?
I seen.
Stop it.
Like I had somebody like they paid off their car, but it was giving them a lot of problems, so they wanted a new car. And then they hit me up. They're like, should I get it? I said, you don't need it. You know what I mean? He's like, but I want it. I said, all right, if it makes sense to you, do what you do. He went there. He traded in his old car. I don't know why. They gave him pennies on the dollar for it. Then the payments that he ended up paying for his new car, he could have got a luxury car. Like, he got a reliable car the current year.
Yeah.
But the payments that he was making for that year, like a month for the car, you could have got like something luxury and paid the same price.
Yeah.
Because like, I'm like, it just didn't make sense to me at the time.
It can't be that serious.
And you mentioned it earlier too, like even the workers be like brainwashed. They'll be confused, like when you try to get the phone, they're like, why you don't just put the payments toward the phone? Like, why you trying to pay the phone off right now?
You
like,
pay $22 for life? Like, no, just pay that thing off and be done with it.
They'll be, I got a credit card. It'll be so much cheaper. You put on the credit card. Like, they brainwashed too.
That's
like,
every like almost every store. Oh, just put a credit card. We got a store credit card, layaway, like anything they could do to keep you trapped with them.
Yeah. And
Layaway, I wasn't even mad at. Now it's like a firm. You get this stuff now, and then you just make payments later. No, that's not even teaching you how to save. Bring back layaway.
At least layaway. You don't get it
Bring layaway back. That taught you how to save and how to work toward have some discipline. Now you reckless. Like, you can just swipe, get yourself and go.
Yeah, I fell victim a while back. I bought like $1,000 worth of stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm straight. And then each month, bam, it's okay. And then, and then something happened to you. Like, let's say life happened, and then the payment's still coming out. It's,
Yeah.
Now you looking at the stuff you bought mad.
They got those little apps now, like I guess.
Firm.
But they got like
Afterpay.
I forgot the name.
They got Afterpay. They got Afterpay. They got Firm card. Yeah, that one. Yeah. They got so much.
Yes.
And they throw it in your face. Anytime.
And it's just started too. Like,
anytime you do online shopping,
crazy. Yeah, everybody
they gonna
has
give you like options. You can pay out of one of the four. You get it right now.
Gucci has it. Like, it's.
Oh, you know the black community.
They preying on us. They preying on us. Why does Gucci have Afterpay?
Yeah. I ain't know we're gonna go crazy.
So that boy's flexing with outfits that you ain't even paying.
Stop it. Cut it out. Cut it out.
That's
enough.
That's why people be dying when you step on their shoes.
Yeah, man. That's crazy.
Lord, it's out of control.
I'd be mad too. I ain't even finished paying it off. You go dirty my junk. That's crazy.
I'm telling you, it's crazy. And then the credit cards are predatory too, because it's like, 18 months, 0 interest.
Yeah.
Come on, you know you're going to forget about that. After
18
a year and a half, you don't rack. That's what happened to me. I'm paying that. Yeah.
It sound good up front.
It sound good, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, bro.
Yeah. So after you pass your CPA, right? How did you get into like the finance, like doing videos and everything like that?
Yeah, so like I said, once I got into being an auditor, I was $30,000 in debt, and I can't even tell you what I bought because, like I said, I was just like I was in New York, I was shopping, I was swiping, swiping. All right, so I became an auditor, and then it was crazy because as an auditor, I realized that people don't know what they're doing at work, like. One of my roles was I had to go and do a walkthrough, and that's basically where when you're first starting off with a new client, or maybe even if it's an old client, just to get used to the procedures of what they do, you walk to them and say, hey, like, what do you do at your job? Like, what is your position? They would hate when I came because they're like, I mean, I do this. I'm like, but why? And they're like, they would get an attitude with me, curse me out. I'm like, this is scary. Yeah. You know, people are running these businesses, but they have no clue what's going on. Then you talk to the CFO, and he's just mouthing off all this stuff, and it's just like a dramatic difference. It's a dramatic difference in between the language they're using versus their staff. They're all in accounting, but only the higher ups had much more business savvy, or they were just much more aware. And because I was an auditor, I was always around CFOs because they would always come in there and they would chat us up. Especially I had one CEO in particular. He was such a jerk. Oh my God. But either way, so I started to see the differences where they're telling us, oh, make sure you save. Companies do not, no company I've worked at, and they're all billion-dollar companies, no one has a savings goal. There is no savings goals in business. Like you're not saving. If anything, if you have too much cash, it's a problem because no one's trying to invest in your business for you to just sit on the money. Yeah. You got to put that money to work, right? So why don't we have that same concept? Why are you telling us to just keep the money in our savings account? Is getting eaten up by inflation, but they're over there putting their money to work.
And the bank use our money to invest too.
Yeah, that's why they give you a little, sorry,
the
interest rate. Then they go invest it way higher, and they collect that difference.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm seeing all that. I'm like, dang, I'm over here in a 401k. They don't promote 401ks either because they're in business. Like they go all in on one thing. You don't see McDonald's, maybe they sell t-shirts, but you don't see McDonald's over here doing lashes. Right? They're in the business of like location and food.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, this is crazy. Y'all got the real deal how to make money. So I was like, well, I'm gonna get it too. I'm gonna go online. Mm-hmm. I started going online looking at how to make more money. I came across Graham Stephan, which is like one of like the OG.
Shout out to Graham. Man.
Shout out to Graham because I saw how much money he was making.
Shout out to
I said, oh really? It's like that on YouTube? Let me go find me a mic, okay? So that's what inspired me because he was being so transparent about his money. Yeah. And that was the first time I was really exposed to it. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine.
You good.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
That was the first time I was exposed to people making money and it wasn't necessarily at a job. And I'm like, well, let me just go ahead and try, So I just was like, let me come up with some ideas, like think about what I'll talk about. I'm like, I know I'm an accountant. I'm getting some information from these people. So let me just go. And I posted, my first year on YouTube, I posted 52 videos, okay? And I made literally nothing. My mama and my friend Marsha, shout out to Marsha. That was the only people watching my content. I had 300 subscribers and nobody was watching.
How was that grind like as far as the thought process, making the videos?
Yeah.
Like,
it was
what made you continue though too?
Well, I'm not a quitter. Like, I'm not. I already knew. I saw how much money that guy was making, and I was like, I could do it. Like, there's no way. I need to get to the bag. There is no way I'm gonna sit here and watch him saying he's making $20,000, $30,000 a month, and I'm over here working like a slave at my job, working from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. Like, this ain't it. I could make a video. I'd rather that. So I know the biggest problem was consistency. So I made sure that I wrote down 100 ideas before I even got started. And then I made sure, that's
before ChatGPT too. Like.
What? I didn't have ChatGPT back in the day. Okay, it was right up here. That was it. So
that's smart though.
Yeah, 20. I did 100 ideas, and then I scripted out 20. So that I knew, okay, if I just do one a week, I'm good for at least 4 months, and I could see if it picks up traction.
Yeah, you could add
what people are liking. The thing about social media in general is people see like you have all these followers. Followers are just a measure of how many times you've gone viral. So, like, for example, I have like, let's say 300,000 people on TikTok almost, right? Most of those came from probably 5 videos. So the idea of making content and putting these videos out, it's not to instantly become a star and become, that happens sometimes, but it's to put the reps in. It's to teach you discipline. And for when one of your videos do pop off, they're gonna come to your page. Yeah. And they better not find it empty. Right? Yeah. So it's to put, so I knew that. I'm like, okay, something's gonna pop off and I don't want them to come to my page and find nothing. Yeah. Okay? So I just kept it going. And then the pandemic, everybody was worried about their money.
Oh yeah.
And opportunities like that always come. It might not be a pandemic, but it's gonna be something, a recession. There's always an opportunity, and then you already have a catalog of things to watch, So I knew it was gonna come. I just had to be patient. And then when the pandemic came, I was popping them videos out like I don't know what. I was like, boom, 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 yeah, run it up. So people were following me from there, and that's how I gained a lot of traction on social media, reporting about the stimulus packages and then all that kind of money stuff. So.
And how long did it take you, like, between you posting them 52 videos to like getting some traction?
Yeah, so the 52 videos took 11 months with no money. Then after that, I went from 300 followers to 5,000 within like a month. People
that's consistent. Consistency works.
Yeah, when it started jumping, it just started jumping.
Every day I'm like a drug. I'm like, ooh, another follow. That was a crazy time, but that's why I started learning the power of it. I'm like, oh, okay, so when things go viral, that's when you really get most of your followers. You're not gonna, you might get like 1 follower, 2 follower here, but when something pops off, that's when people are interested in you, and you just want to make sure you have a catalog. So that's what kept me going.
Okay.
Then I monetized. The monetization process was a little bit different back then too. I think it's still difficult. No matter which way you cut it, it's difficult.
Like on YouTube or YouTube. I think they changed it because back then I think you only need like 500 subscribers. And you can, or they kept changing it. First, you couldn't monetize. First, then you could monetize without no followers or anything. You just drop videos.
Yeah, I missed that trend.
Yeah, then they changed to that 1,040 the 4 hour 40 hour.
Yeah, you needed 4,000 hours and 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
that's when I started.
That one is hard.
That was tough. Like I said, 11 months in, and like nobody was even. Thank God the pandemic. I'm sorry everybody died, but like, shout out to the pandemic because that put me on the map. You know, so the opportunities like that, they come up.
Yeah, the stimulus videos, like a lot of people.
Yes.
Popping on. What do you find like the hardest about like being like a content creator?
Being consistent is the hardest thing because, you know, when it comes to a regular 9-to-5 job, if I don't feel like really working, I ain't gonna work. You know, sorry job.
Call out.
I'll just be, you know, I'll be on my phone, whatever. I mean, to be honest, right? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. If I don't feel like working, I'm still gonna make the same money. A lot of my jobs, or most of my jobs, were salaried. So if I didn't feel like it, it was okay. But when you're making money on your own, you can't really have days like that. And if you do, it's going to impact you, you know, and especially on certain platforms are more sensitive than others. I know we were talking before the cameras came on about which platform is, I guess, best for what. So it's consistency is the main thing. If you could just stay consistent, most people will quit. You don't have to even be great. You have to just don't give up, and you're gonna outperform. Yeah, because when I first started YouTube, it was like a whole bunch of us starting on YouTube. And we would all like support each other's pages and go and comment on each other's stuff. Now, only 2 of like the 15 people, and not including me, so 2 of them are still actually on there. And one of them is a girl named Erica Kohlberg. She's like a lawyer girl. She started YouTube when I started, and this other guy too. So people just quit. You just keep up, and you will get better, and you will gain traction. So that's the hardest thing. And then if you just are curious about what platform to get started on, YouTube is the best to get paid for your work. Because once you get monetized, every single video that you post, you will get paid for. TikTok is the best for growth, period. Because like I said before off camera, they push your stuff to your non-audience first. So you're much more likely to be put in front of new people on there because it's the For You page. It's not necessarily your following page. And then Instagram, I think, is better if you're going to have business and you still want short form content because your content gets served to your actual audience, so you can form a better relationship with those people because they'll see you more often.
And you mentioned like outside of money, like what motivates you, man? Because sometimes people you ain't seeing the growth. You like, man, why continue, man? Like,
that's the problem. So people will always come to me, I want to get on social media. I'm like, why? I want free product.
Free products.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I want to make money. I'm gonna stop you right there. Like that can be your reason to start because obviously everybody wants to make money. We don't act crazy about it. Like I know that, but you do need a deeper reason. And for me, my deeper reason was just being slapped in the face by 9-to-5 too often. You know, I had a job that I'm like a goody two shoes at work. Okay, I'm type A. I'm a hard worker. I like to work
above and beyond.
Yeah, type thing. So I like to go above and beyond. Okay, and too often it's like you're doing all this work and all of this effort and then nothing, crickets. You get like a 3.5% raise, because of the budget or something like this, right? Tired of that, right? So then I had a situation at a job that I just I don't get in problems with jobs, okay? This job, oh my God, this lady, I'm not gonna call no names, but she know who she is. I could not stand this boss. She would not talk to nobody who was in staff. She would only talk to managers. I wasn't a manager. So it was just like, let's say this is like the office and you all are the managers. She would say, hi, and leave me right there and pay me no mind. Wouldn't ask about my kid, nothing. It was such a toxic work environment.
Yeah.
If I made a mistake, they would call everybody in the office. From the VP down to my boss. I was like, this is out of control. And they're like, are you going to do it again? I'm like, am I going to make a mistake again? Maybe I'm going to make a mistake again. I don't freaking know.
Yeah.
I remember that little video I seen on social media. It was like, they was on a Zoom meeting or whatever. And then she was like, you never sent over the report that I asked you for a week ago. And then she's like, oh no, I sent it to your boss.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, we can talk offline. No. We're trying to talk about everybody because you thought I made the mess up. That's your boss. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
We're not doing that off camera. Like, that's crazy.
It's too much of that. Yeah. So I just got tired of it.
That's toxic though. Like
it
if
was.
You made a mistake, you gonna do it again? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, and then she wouldn't, like I said, she wouldn't talk to you. So if she wrote you an email, you know you really messed up. So I got an email one day and I was like, shoot.
What I did.
Yeah. So what she said I did, I had proof that I had gotten approved for it. So I sent her my proof. Meeting within an hour later from my boss. He's like, did you think it was appropriate to write her? I was like, are you freaking
really?
serious?
But you.
And then they told me to write an apology letter.
Tell her?
Yes.
I ain't gonna lie, that probably would have made me leave.
So I ran to HR and I explained. I said, "Look, I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm not writing no letter.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do nothing wrong. I think this is crazy." And they're like, "Well, just explain what happened." So I did, and he was like, "No, you're not saying sorry." I'm like, "I'm not sorry."
Yeah.
So after that, I quit. Obviously, as you can imagine, but that put fire under me, and I know that most people are in a situation like that where your job might piss you off, you might hate it, but you can't get out of it because you need the job.
Yeah, you need it.
Too much people depend on their jobs. One of my coworkers got fired last month, and I had told her to look for another job. She didn't. I was on her. Right? So, like, situations like that make me keep going because I'm like, if you could just make something on the side, you don't have to even quit your 9 to 5. Because I liked, for a while, I liked kind of balancing the two, but just having some extra money.
Yeah, and they give you like a free, like your mind
Peace
is
of
free.
mind.
You don't gotta walk on eggshells. Like,
No, I'm gonna get crazy with me if you want to. Back then, I was like, okay, I dare you. I dare you to say something to me right now. I'll tear this place up, right? So it just gives you more wiggle room. You could be who you want to be.
Yeah, like you're a different person. Like,
yes.
You know, my boy was just telling me because he had like 2 jobs. He had one that was secure and he had like a night job. He did just for the perks. And then he's like, he'll be walking into work for the one with the perks, and then he'll see people like stressing. And he's like, bro, I'm chilling.
Exactly.
I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
Then he got, I think they did like a whole bunch of laid offs where the company that he was working for just laid off half the company. So now he going to the second job. They're like, bro, you acting different. He really working now because he needed it now. He's like, you need me to pick up a shift? I got you. I'll pick up your shift. They're like, yo, bro, like, why you acting like this, bro?
Yeah.
And I'm talking to the nigga, bro. He's like, it's different when this your only source of income, bro. You look at it different, bro. Because if you lose it,
you over it all. You done. That's a different type.
But thankfully, he had that because
and
that's what a lot of people end up like that. They're fired and they don't have a backup plan.
Backup.
So that's what keeps me going because that's my bigger mission is to get people out of that. People don't realize that most of the things that we hate are supported by the middle class, right? So you hate taxes. Poor people don't pay taxes because they don't make enough money. And rich people hire CPAs, and so they don't pay taxes either. When that situation happened with the pandemic.
Wow, that's a gem.
Yeah, with the pandemic, poor people, they didn't get the vaccine. Homeless people, they're homeless. I'm not going to get no vaccine. Rich people, they literally left the country or left to different states. And middle class had to support those government policies. You understand?
Oh, yeah,
inflation hurts the middle class because, again, poor people, they get food stamps, they get the cost of living adjustments, they have welfare. Rich people have the businesses that are profiting off of the inflation. They have the assets. So it's the middle class that suffers from all of these things. So you have to get out of that because that supports the system, right? And we don't want
you don't want to go down, so you got to go up.
Thank you. All right. So
speaking of that, like, so how do I create another side of income? Like, if I don't know where to start, like.
Start with what you do right now. So some people always come to me and they're like, I don't know what I want to do. I just know that I don't want to work my 9 to 5. And most jobs that you're working, you can do by yourself. Now, obviously, make sure that there's no conflict of interest.
You don't break
So I was working at an aerospace and defense company. There's no way that my customers are going to be their customers. Like their customers are the government, right? So I could still offer accounting outside of my 9 to 5, and it doesn't compete with my job. So if you're in marketing, absolutely. Like right now, there's a whole AI wave.
Yeah.
Video editing, like the internet is where the bag is at right now. So try to figure out how you could use your same services, and like any job can do this. It could be transferable skills. It doesn't have to be the exact same skill. So for example, let's say you work in retail and you fold clothes and you sell clothes to people. Some people are deathly afraid to talk to people, and they will pay you to help them. Like, how do you approach these customers? How do you even ask them what they want? Like, they would like literally, piss their pants to talk to somebody. So it doesn't have to be the same exact thing. Think about the skills that you have or problems that you solve for yourself. So for example, with me, I took myself out of that $30K worth of debt. A lot of people are in debt.
Yeah.
A lot of people would pay for that too.
For help, yeah.
So start with what you're already doing or what you've gotten yourself out of, because if you're just at least 4 or 5 steps ahead of somebody else, that's a business idea.
So speaking on that, I want you to pretty much tell our audience how you got out of debt, right? And there's 2 methods that some people know, some people don't: the snowball effect and the avalanche effect, and the pros and cons to either or.
Okay, so the snowball and avalanche method, I think, was popularized by probably Dave Ramsey. I think
Yeah,
it was.
Dave. Yeah. Dave.
And so the snowball effect is the idea of you're just gonna keep on paying off, starting off with your smallest debt first, and keep building off and tackling off the higher debt, higher debt, higher debt. The benefit of that is that you get small wins quicker. So if you're somebody who needs to feel encouragement and needs to feel motivation, you would do the snowball method because you'd see your balances just getting eliminated one by one. But that's not the more financially responsible way to do it all the time, because the avalanche method would be instead take the one that's costing you the most money, right, and get that out of the way first. Because if you have a small balance with a small interest rate, it might make you feel good to pay it off, right? But then you have this credit card that's sitting at 29%. Get that one. Don't get the student loan, right? Like that don't make no sense. So I am a big fan of the avalanche because in my mind, I want to do what makes sense financially. If I'm already in a financial, rut, I don't want to just feel good. I want it to go away. So I would tackle the more costly debt first, which is always going to be credit card debt in most cases because they're borderline predatory. It's going to be in the 20% rate.
Yeah.
You want to get rid of that immediately. Some people will say, "Oh, should I invest?" No, pay off the debt. Yeah. That is the investment.
Facts.
That is the investment. Don't even worry about. Like, you can't worry about nothing else.
And that's the other thing too. People don't think like. You mentioned that they don't think about the categories, like, the credit card, the car payment, like those different type of debts. They think that they'll look at as far as like, I'm gonna start with, say, the a car payment. I'm finna try to work on paying my car first, where the credit card debt is picking up more interest. Like they don't think about it like that as far as the different categories.
Because I was gonna say to I don't know if I said it on or off camera, but the reason I learned so much about credit, debt, and all that is because I was in the hole, and them boys was calling my phone like you
call your family.
They calling there like they really coming for my neck, and I'm like, yo, I'm still in college, bro. Let me breathe a little bit, bro. Like, let me get my degree, bro. And they got me young too. They gave me a high limit. And I'm in college. I'm barely working. I'm working part-time at the school as security. And I'm living life. Swipe at the door.
Like 14 bands, ain't it?
Yeah, they give me like
crazy.
They give me 14 at college.
You must have lied so hard. Just by you making so much.
I usually kept. But I said that because before I had any knowledge of credit, because I just opening cards, swiping. So then I was actually doing the snowball effect, and then I'm thinking I'm doing something good, something great, right? I paid off 2 of my cards. They were low, probably like $300, $500. I paid them off completely, and they closed them because I wasn't touching them. I didn't know that was a thing, right? I didn't know you could just close my card because I ain't used it in 3 to 6 months, depending on the bank you use. And then as I started getting more financially literate, you know what I mean? Then I learned about the avalanche effect, and that's when that big debt we tackled. Once I got that out the way, then I realized how.
Yeah, more money.
Yeah, because like the money that I was throwing at that monthly, I could throw it at the little one, and then once I got to the second and last one, I could pay the whole thing off with what I was making on the biggest one.
Exactly.
And then because I would advise that method, but some people say
that method too.
Yeah, if you don't got the bread, but it's like
you don't have the bread to begin with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can say something.
Either way you gotta look. Yeah.
Like if you gotta take that struggle over the other one because it's gonna get you out. It's gonna get you where you need to go quicker. Even though it seems like it's taking a long time, but it's gonna be quicker.
Yeah, and like lack of education too is why like most of like Caribbean people they don't like credit cards. They hate credit cards. They think it's the devil.
I'll say really talk on credit cards because me when I give some of my homeboys advice, and they parents beat into their head, credit cards is bad. Credit cards is bad. Because I told them, I said, listen, once I got literate, I don't remember the last time I touched my debit card. Right? Anything, my lifestyle is, I don't want to say surrounded, but I have a credit card for each aspect of my lifestyle because I know I'm going to get money back, right? So I have a credit card for gas. I have a credit card for large expenses. I have a credit card for gas, food. Like I have like 6 credit cards, right? But I know how to manage it, right? And I told my boy, he's like, nah, I'm going to stick with my one. And I'm like,
he might be smart though, because some people don't know how to manage it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Because I was telling him, I'm like, because we also discussed that, just because it's good for me, that don't mean it's good for you. But he's smart with money. He literally just afraid of credit because of his old peoples.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I do think depending on who you are, maybe credit cards aren't a good thing.
Yeah,
right? So
like
some people I work with, it's like, yeah, you're getting 1% cash back, but you have a balance and you're paying 20%
Yeah.
on the balance. So that doesn't even make no sense mathematically. So if you're somebody who's just getting out of credit card debt, until you build that muscle of paying things off immediately, I would say use your debit card because you're gonna get yourself in deeper problems. I've had people who come to me, I help them clear their debt up, and they come right back and they racked it up. And that's like a different discussion on like more like mindset and being a different person. That we could talk about a little bit later. But with credit cards, obviously you're gonna. It's great to establish credit. You don't want to use your own money. Apple has literally like 32 billion with a B in cash on their balance sheet, and they still take out loans. Right? So debt, if used wisely, is actually very smart because you're using other people's money to help grow your income. Credit cards are a little bit different. Obviously, you don't necessarily do that.
Yeah, that's true.
But the fact is, that's one of the introductory products to help build your credit. So if you're using it responsibly, and if you're paying it off, you don't have to pay off everything. But I definitely would suggest that at the very least, don't spend more than 30% on your credit card because then that will negatively impact your credit score. But there's so many perks. I mean, I've gotten like thousands of dollars in cash back just from using my credit card. There's travel cards where you can get free vacations. They'll give you all type of points, but it's only for the responsible.
Yeah.
You don't want to start racking them up because that's what I did. I had so many different credit cards when I knew I had no business having them. And then it's like, I'm just rotating the payments and I'm just charging here. Like that's too much drama,
that's
you know?
The worst.
Yeah. So don't do it. And depending on what you want, because I really only use one credit card primarily too. But I also have a different way to set up my bank accounts. But I get really good cash back on that card. So if you just shop around and make sure that you're gonna get the best cash back. Because,
so do you only have like 2 credit cards?
No, I have like 5, but I only really use one because I like Capital One because when I go traveling, they don't charge me foreign transaction fees.
Capital One GOAT, man. They've been with me.
No kissy.
They don't do you good. I'll show you. They do right by me.
I don't know what you did to them. Yeah, they like me. They like me.
Hey, me and Cat, we locked in, man.
The limit is like low, bro.
They do try you like that.
Increase my limit.
But you know what? I realized when I started maxing my card out and then paying it off, like I never kept a balance. They just started giving me credit more.
And that's all that.
I like Americans.
I forgot who. Nah, them boys scarred me. That's what I'm talking about. That's who got me. They gave me the $14,000.
Oh yeah,
they cut my neck.
With that too, I was gonna say like American Express. I think I seen a video on that. People was like, that's not really a credit card.
Yeah, it's special because it's not like MasterCard or Visa, right? Yeah. So Visa and MasterCard are basically like they're the payment processors. That's why they're always on every single card because they're the ones that handle transactions. Okay. But American Express has their own system, but they're not accepted everywhere. But they have really good perks.
Yeah, but they be charging them fees, them yearly fees though. Like platinum is like $6.95.
But the thing is, you get a lot of it back. I mean, they give you like $300 credit for whatever, or something like this, like
Ubers and stuff.
If you do it right, like that's why I say like, because me and this works for me. It might not work for everybody because I know I eat a lot. You know what I mean? So let me get a card that gives me 4 times, you know what I'm saying, the points on food.
Yeah.
I know I got to put in gas. I got a card that gives me 3 times the points. For big purchases like traveling, like it's my big purchase card and it's also my travel card. I've accumulated so much points. I'm going to be able to fly first class to another country by next year. For free.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? On stuff that I have to pay for, I have to spend on regularly. But once again, you got to be financially responsible. Like all my cards get paid off a month in advance. Like as soon as the balance due, it's paid. You know what I mean? And I have a whole like sheet broken down on how much I'm allocating my funds towards, and I'm not going overboard. If I don't have it in my debit, I'm not gonna credit it. You know what I'm saying? That's to balance it. But
and I think like sometimes it's hard to use like cards or credit cards in general is because like you use that. You disassociate just by you spending money than the card. Like
it's not my bread or you know my card. You know
Apple really is paying.
Hey, that's the shit. I use Apple Pay, man.
No, it ain't Apple Pay, baby.
Like, how do you? I don't know how to close the gap on that though.
It's a mindset.
No, but it's yeah, and then the thing is, well, it's awareness first. So I was talking to another client I was working with, and she was like, "I just got a car," and I'm like, "Oh, what's the interest rate?" And she's like, "I don't know." I was like, "Girl, like, what you mean you don't know? Like, you didn't sign the paperwork, right?" So a lot of people, but that happens. If you write that down, yeah, I don't even. She owes me something.
I be like, them clients sound like me, dog. You look at all that.
Not good.
I look at that interest.
Right, it's the first thing you should check. But the thing is, that happens. Some people are just desperate to get what they want to get, that they don't even worry about that. It's just they're just focused on making the payment. But writing it all out. So when I was in that debt, what helped me like snap out of it was writing out how much money I was paying in interest. It was like $300-$400 a month just in interest, and that alone, I was like, that is a car payment. That, I mean, I could save that. I had like nothing really saved. I'm like, yo, they making a lot of money off of me right now. So awareness is the first step, and then the next step is being a different person, because if you were the kind of person that could get out of debt, you wouldn't be in it, right? If you were the kind of person that could make $10,000 a month, you would be making it. So the fact that you're not is because you are not the person that you need to be in order to get there. So part of me was like, okay, I need to stop spending. I need to stop being outside. I need to stop shopping. I moved in with my friend's mom, so I was in a room. She only charged me $300 a month, and I was paying that thing off like $1,000 every single month, being very aggressive. So I didn't want to live with her. I like her kind of, but like she was just, it was tough. Well, I like her a lot. But it was tough living with her, to be honest, because it was, she's not my mama, so it's a little bit different. But that's the sacrifice you have to make.
Like, what shift for you though? Like, cause it have to be a shift, right?
Yeah, it's
transform.
Becoming someone different. So before I got into that I wasn't looking at finance content. I wasn't really worried about. I just knew I could make the payments, and I knew that I had money coming in, and I knew eventually, I'll get out of it. I was just being really, really passive about it. But me seeing it on paper made me know I had to do something. And then I constantly surrounded myself with content that was focused around that. So if you're trying to get out of debt, but every time you swipe, you see people on vacation, they shopping, you get an ad, you check your email, your email has all these clothes, things that's not the right environment.
Plus, like social media too, man. You see
Forget about it.
Everybody living a life. Everybody's living a life.
Block them.
Trips all the time. Yeah. Like, bro.
It's funny. It's funny because people will say like, damn, bro, you just came back from a trip or something. You're all on a trip. It's like, you gotta understand. You only see what I post, right? You'll see a trip. Like last year, I went on a trip the first 3 months, and then I disappeared for 4 months, like off social media, because I'm like, I enjoyed it. Now I gotta stack this bread back.
Right.
I got certain goals to hit, and then I came back. A trip for the rest of the year. But it's like, people are like, then you always traveling, how you do it? It's like, do you even work? Yes.
People always ask that. Like, yes. I work a lot.
I work a lot. You know what I mean? But I'm not showing you that. So if you only go on my social media and every time I post something, you see traveling, you're going to think that's all I do. It's literally a highlight reel, bro. Like, stop focusing on other people's highlight reel and try to make your own. But first, get disciplined.
Exactly. Especially if you're somebody that gets... you're sensitive to people, balling out and people, because you might get FOMO, you might want to keep up with them. So if that's the case, just block that. Block out the words luxury. You can block words off on social media. Block out vacation, block out Bali, block all the words out. Yeah, the bad vibes, okay? Until you get your stuff in order.
That's real dedication. So as far as investment, right? When do you get to a point where you invest in, and like, what are the best investment? Is it better to leave your money in a high yield savings account, or like invest in like safe investment, of course, like the S&P 500, those type of things. Yeah,
it's not investment advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so disclaimer: don't come back over here looking for. I ain't liable. All right. So I think that when you're first starting off, anything is better than nothing. So personally, I think, they always tell you, do a 401k. You can invest in the S&P 500 without the 401k. You don't have to be, succumb to these fees that you're going to get from if you want your money back or something like this. Yeah. I think a 401k is great if you have, your employer does matching. That's the biggest perk. And if you're somebody who earns a lot of income, if you have a traditional 401k, it reduces your taxable income. So it makes it look like you made less money during the year. So that's the main benefit of a 401k. But I do think that if you're someone who maybe you don't have a passion yet, you don't really want to go into business, definitely starting out with index funds, which just they follow an index. S&P 500 is an index. The Dow Jones is an index. They just follow. They will have a collection of these companies. So you're just diversified. If you don't know what you're doing, don't just go just cherry picking stocks. Right? You could just keep. You don't know what you're doing.
AMC.
Yeah, right. To the moon, like nah, you ain't going to the moon. You ain't relax yourself, right? And, you know, the thing is, if you look at any of these charts, S&P 500 or any of these charts, like in the long run, they always go up.
Yeah.
Why? Because inflation, like everything is always going to go up. They have a target for at least 2% a year. So you know, on average, things are going to be moving up at least 2%, including your investments. So over time, it's going to go up no matter what. There's going to be dips. Hopefully when you're trying to retire, it ain't the dip season, right? Yeah. But the goal, the idea is no matter what, it's really moving in an upward trend because of inflation, right? So I would recommend that for someone who maybe they want a business, but they don't really know what to do yet, or they're just starting out, because it's better than just, oh yeah, I'll save, and then you don't save.
Yeah.
Now, high yield savings, I said it's a scam. People are like, "Oh no, it's not." I'm like, "You're an idiot," because
Talk about it.
No.
Lock it in.
You see how this shit up?
You gotta readjust your seat.
Let me lock it now.
So
we're about to pay.
The reason why high yield is a scam, or it's a play on words. So is it higher? Yes. Chase is going to give you 0.01%. So that is definitely no yield. Yes. Okay. Whereas if you go like Capital One, for example, it has like rates in like the 4%, especially during like when everything was like going crazy and inflating.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, we got 4%. That's okay. But inflation was 7% or 8%. Oh. So if everything around you is going up 8%, and all you gained was 4%, how is it a high yield? Yeah, it's not high. When you actually net it out, you're losing money. Mm-hmm. So in order for you to really actually get some money back, it needs to be higher than inflation. It has to be higher than the cost of everything else around you going up. So it's a high. I like higher yield. It is a higher yield, but don't think you're not gonna be better off in that account. At the end of the year, everything went up more than your savings account did. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of why you have to step out into the risk curve, because that's where the better yields are, the real yields. You know, if
what's like the risk curve?
The risk curve is just basically investments being more riskier as you step out, right? So think about the most risk-free thing is a bond. Mm-hmm. Bonds are risk-free because the government prints the money. Like if you owe me money and I know you have to print it back there, go print it up. Right, mm-hmm. So I don't have to worry about me not getting my money because they got a printer in the back.
Yeah, but don't you have like a certain amount of time you could take that money out for the bond?
Yeah, the bonds, it depends, right? So there's like bills, which are shorter term, and then there's bonds that are 30 years. You can sell them whenever you really want to, right? Certain bonds, they do have restrictions, really? Like I bonds, but you can, on the secondary market, you can trade those bonds to other people.
Not the government.
Yeah, not the government.
Okay, because I always had in my head, like, when it came to bonds, whatever year you locked in, you're locked in.
Oh, no. People trade bonds all the time.
So is it just the paper itself then?
Well, it's all electronic. So if you go to treasurydirect.gov, that's where you can buy them. Mm-hmm. Okay. So a lot of times they'll have more favorable rates than savings rates, right? Or at least right now. So I would put a bond in. Like, let's say I do 1 month, because right now, like the 1 month and like the shorter term bonds are higher right now, which is not normal, but anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. Okay. So, they're like 4% or 5%. You can put it in. It's like an auction. The government will basically just give you the bond, and then it expires in whatever period it is. So, like, let's say 4 weeks, and then they'll give you the money back. But the way it works is, let's say they're looking to borrow, and a bond, just for those who don't know, is just you loaning money to the government. It's just a loan, but that's what they call it when you give it to the government. Okay, so the government may say, "Hey, I need $10,000. Who got me?" Right? Then you come out and say, "Oh, I got $10,000 for you." All right. So what they're gonna do is they'll take the 10,000 from you, but then they'll give you the difference, then they'll when they give it back to you, it's gonna have start over. Mm-hmm. All right. When they take the 10,000 out, they already adjust for the interest. Mm-hmm. So let's say the interest ended up being,
like their own interest on it.
No, they just net it out for you, so you don't have to So if they say it's 10,000 and they're gonna pay you like $1,000 of interest, let's say, instead of actually taking out 10,000, they only take out 9,000. Okay. So that's like the difference. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that correctly or if it makes sense, but long story short, it's just they expire. You can roll them over if you want to. And when you see the interest rate, like let's say it's a 5% interest rate, that's for the whole year. So if you have a 1 month bond, you're going to get 5% divided by 12 back. You don't get the actual 5% back. Sense. And that's how savings rates work.
And when they expire, like, is it, that's it? You can't get your money back?
You can roll it over if you want to. But if it expires, they just send you your money back. So you loan them the money and then they just give it right back to you. Okay. So they'll, if they ask you for 10,000, they're only going to take out, like, let's say it's 10,000 that they want from you. But they're going to give you $1,000 back. That's not going to happen. But let's just keep it easy, right? Yeah. What they'll do is they'll take out 9,000 from your account, but give you 10,000 back. Oh. Okay. So savings accounts, for example, they'll just keep on depositing little money into your account every single month. But the government, after the bond expires, they just give you the whole principal back, even though they only took out less than what they actually borrowed.
Okay. Oh, because they already gave you what. They left in what you was gonna.
They already calculated that interest beforehand, so they took out less than you actually loaned them. Yeah, effectively. Okay. So I mean, that's like, I don't want to get too caught up in the details, but basically the bond, back to the risk curve thing. The bonds are risk free because the government owns the money. They create the money, and it's a little bit. They print it. It's not that easy, but just keep it simple. Okay, so that's probably the least risky thing. Then you have your savings accounts. They're riskier than bonds because they're just random corporations. They don't really own the money printers. We can go in a rabbit hole and discuss that, but generally you're protected by
they had a couple of banks that failed.
Like, exactly.
People lost their money.
It was a lot, right? So your high yield savings will be the next safer thing because it's FDIC insured. The FDIC doesn't necessarily have a whole bunch of money, but they can give you the facade of like, everything's okay, don't worry about it.
So is it up to a certain amount though? Like,
yeah, 250,000, which most people don't have to worry about. I don't know mine. Nice. So and then then you could think about maybe the extreme being something like crypto, which it's very, very volatile. Man, I lost a few bands. It worked out though because I had a lot of income that year. But yeah, it was
even this year, bro. I lost like 3 bands already.
A lot of income. It still hurt, man.
Crypto is not for the weak-hearted.
No, but that's risky, right? So if you're thinking about making investments, if you don't really know what you're doing, then stick to something safer like bonds, index funds.
So where would you put index funds in that category?
I'd put it above or right at, so we have bonds and we have savings accounts, and then I would start to say index funds there.
Would you put it under the high yield savings or above?
No, it's above. It's more riskier than high yield savings for sure because there's no insurance. Okay. If you bought a stock and then tomorrow the CEO slapped somebody and it went down to zero, like you're not getting that money back. It's over.
That makes sense.
Right? So
that's tough though.
You slap some.
It's tough. Yeah. Me and him have to have a conversation.
Come on now. You better than this. And Pino, they'll just kick the man out.
Yeah, because they kick out like they have their rotation. The next person in line. Oh, you tripping? You out?
Yeah, they reallocate. But the reason why I say stocks is just riskier is because of things like that. It's much more based on emotions. If like Boeing was having a couple planes acted up the other day, right? So their stock, their stock tanked, and if you're
get off everybody that took. Boy, we saw it.
Oh, never mind. I'm gonna cut that out.
We go
put that in.
I love Boeing. So then I would say something that's what people say is riskier, but I don't think so, is like your own business, and that's where I believe if you go all in, the returns are crazy, especially with the online space because it's not expensive. In some cases, it's totally free. When I was starting on YouTube, I had you could even start with your phone that you have right now. And once you start making some money and getting brand deals, like it's just the same phone you've already had and was already paying for. So there's a lot more margin in online business. So I think that's a really good place to be right now because a lot of people still think it's a scam. They're still like, I don't know about being an influencer. They're like people are fatigued, but they don't realize that the bag is there. Yeah. People are still buying. It's still a very alive and well industry.
And people always say like a market is oversaturated, but you gotta understand.
It be feeling.
They don't know what they're talking about.
It feel bro, because it's like you gotta understand, bro. people want to people going to consume the content, bro. I don't even believe in the concept of oversaturation, because if you're doing what you got to do and you putting out good content or good whatever, people gonna come to it regardless, no matter how much people in that content. I like chocolate. I eat a Snickers here. I eat an M&M's. Like, I'm not just, oh, no, I can't touch that because this been here for so, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
if it's good, people going to go to it.
Facts. Speaking on that, do you think, like, we're in a recession?
I think that we're in I guess, beginning stages, but we've been saying that for, like, so many years.
The government lying so much.
Yeah.
Like one of my boys in particular, like he keep preaching like, hey, y'all boy, like where y'all cash at, like what y'all got y'all money invest into. Like, he really been checking on us lately, because I guess he been talking to a lot of CEOs, CFO, like people in like business, and he's like, just get ready, you know what I mean? Like, something coming.
I have a different opinion on that. So when I first started reporting, I guess, financial information, I was heavily into economics, but you just have to have this faith that I'm not going to be in a recession. You know, recessions are really good for rich people.
Yeah.
If recessions, things are going on sale,
create a lot
houses
of
are
millionaires
dropping.
too, yep.
Yeah, the millions are made in recessions. So instead of thinking, oh my God, like I'm scared, work on being the best at your job so you have more cushion and you don't get fired. My parents got fired during the last recession because they were not great. They were mediocre, honestly, right? Like they weren't going above and beyond. So they got fired. Those companies that they were working at, they're still here. So it wasn't like they went out of business. They just got fired because they were the weakest links.
Yeah.
So
Crazy. It was
instead of just being like, oh my God, I'm afraid of a recession. No, work your ass off and make sure you're saving right now, because when things go on sale, you want to take advantage of it. You don't want to be on the losing end of it.
Yeah.
How many years have we spent doing that? You know, you don't want to lose. So I think that, you know, you always prepare for opportunity. Don't think about recession. Just think about how I can be better, because people make a lot of money. Like I said, the pandemic was a blessing for me and people lost their jobs. So you can be afraid and you can say, oh my God, I don't know. Or you can say, you know what, I'm getting this money no matter what.
That's true.
And
No, I was gonna say, like, all right, so I started like social media, right? I have videos now. How do you go about like doing like brand deals and things like that? Do you have like a manager? And how do you avoid like people scamming you? Because some people be like, those brand managers, they be scamming. Like, sometimes just the free products, what I'm struggling is not enough. Like, I need like compensation, you know?
I would never do anything for free. I have no free internships.
Did you ever do it before?
No, sir. You're gonna pay me. I don't believe in free. Free comes at a cost.
Or like just like they free products.
No. If you want me to talk about something, you gotta pay me. Because if I talk, because when I talk, I'm a y'all, this is amazing. And then if that goes viral and I got was a T-shirt, nah, bro, you gonna run me some money out.
You got a lot of people that's creating brand, like they elevated brands. All they got was free products.
Yeah, no, that happened to me where I did a brand deal and it went really, really viral because like, the video I did was really good. And I mean, I got paid for it, but I was still like, dang, compared to what they made, I made nothing. So I would not suggest doing free products. I just suggest because their social media has two different, I guess, avenues you could take it. So if you want to be an influencer and you want to do brand deals, then you need to focus on having good quality content, making sure your things are very engaging, and creating content that makes people want to follow you. So having a series, you know, like Let's Get Rich With Me series or something, for example, you know, something that's going to keep people coming back and invested. If you're trying to grow your own business, then you're not looking, who cares about the likes? You want conversions. You want people to be coming to your website, and your content's going to be created more around your products. So I think if you're looking for brand deals, the brand deals actually come to you. I have not reached out to a soul. And I've had, like, let's say over $160,000 of brand deals. I've not reached out to nobody for that. I just focus on having good content, good engagement, and make sure that I stay active in my community and, you know, you relate to people. And there's, like, a whole bunch of different things that you do when it comes to, like, creating content and making sure it's engaging. But I don't reach out. Maybe I should. Maybe I could. I don't have a manager either. They come to you. Just make sure your email is in your bio, and then you are talking about something in particular so you can attract particular brands.
And how do you determine your worth though? Like, because some people, they don't know, like,
starting off, but you taking whatever you could.
Because they don't calculate the amount of time they put in.
Yeah.
The video, they don't calculate the editing part. They don't calculate, you know, like what they have to do.
I think that's something you gotta always like reevaluate every time you get to another stage. Cause like maybe when you first start off, you probably got 1,000 followers. Somebody said they're gonna pay you $150. That's a lot. You know, I only got 1,000 followers, but if I got like 1 million followers, and you think you're gonna pay me 5,000? No. You know what I mean? Because it's like the amount of money you're gonna get just for me even having it in my video don't even compare to the 5,000.
Right.
So I think it's just something you got to keep reevaluating every time you go to another stage.
So I always have at least a base rate because your time and your effort, your energy is still worth something. I don't say charge by the hour because that's what people who are in the middle class do. You know, Apple's not charging you by the hour that you use a phone. Like the phone's $1,500, pay for it or whatever it costs. You know, so it's more value based pricing. What are they gonna get? There's a whole bunch of different factors. Because if they're gonna just use a video and they want you to just post it on your page, it's gonna be cheaper. If they're gonna put ad spend behind it, which means they're gonna take that and they're gonna spread it across the internet, well, you gotta pay more. So my very first brand deal on TikTok was $500 for Text Now. Shout out to Text Now. And I was like, okay, so 500 is base.
Yeah.
All right.
And then tell you that price?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, sure, yes, yes, sir. Give me that 500. You know, because that was a lot of money to me. The video was only 30 seconds long.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, yeah, that's great. I make way less than this at my 9 to 5, so I'll take $500. But then, you know, I just say every time I just try to charge a little bit more and see what they say. If they say yes, I know I messed up because you want some friction. If you say yes too fast, that means that you had a bigger budget and you tried me. Yeah. Okay.
Like, she said yes to
you just try to
get on fire. Yeah, exactly.
You just charge it to the game like that.
Yeah, so it's so much easier to shoot high and negotiate low than go low and go. You're not gonna go low and get high, never. So I always go a little bit more than what I had last time, and then as you start to get more reps in, and you know you have performance, you can show, hey, I did a video for these people, and this was the result. So I'm not doing anything less than 2,000, 3,000. Okay. It's really trial and error. Some companies are really large, you know, so it's like if Intuit reaches out to me, I'm charging a little bit different, right? Because it's more of an impact. You're reaching more people. There's more eyes. There's a lot more at stake versus somebody else who's maybe smaller and starting out. I might give you a break because I know you're smaller. I know you might not have the budget. So you have to it really just depends based by, case by case. Yeah. But have a baseline. Don't there's companies right now will come to me. I got into an argument the other day with somebody because they were trying to pay me $150 for a video. And I was like, I didn't even write them back, but they kept on emailing me. So I'm like, I'm not doing it. Yeah. Don't even respond to those people. And some things can seem like scams, but just do your due diligence. You know, they'll send you a contract. Don't do anything before you get a contract. But if you are focusing on just trying to get attention, for example, like let's say you pick brands you want to work with. So I knew I wanted to work with a couple of different brands, and I would just tag them or just I'll hashtag their name and I'll talk about things that are relevant to their product
or stuff you already
and they would reach out. And every time I do that, within the next month they reach out to me. So that's a little bit of a hack. If you're not someone who's like a go-getter, cold calling and emailing and trying to find people's things, I don't have time for that, to be honest. Like I have a job, so I didn't really care. But they always reach out to me.
Okay.
So I was watching one of your videos and it reminded me on a topic that I like to say. I felt like find your bougie, right? And when I say that, it's like maybe I'm not into designer clothes, but I know I like me a good steak and a good old fashioned, so I'm gonna spend that bag on that food. Or I like to travel, so I probably chill when I'm at home. I got a regular car, a Honda, but I'm gonna take that trip. Exactly. So you explained it a little different, but I love the way you explained it. Pretty much 4 different categories. Like you said, if you want money because you want like to be respected, if you want a softer life. So I'll let you go into that.
Oh yeah, the money motivators I think you're talking about.
Yeah,
right?
that one.
Yeah, so there's 4 different motivators. If you're not in any of them, then you're probably in the 5th, which is not that great, right? But
what's the 5th
it's okay.
one?
Let's go through.
Let's start. Are you going to start? Okay.
Go ahead.
So there is movement, which I've polled like hundreds of people at this point, and movement is the number 1 category people want, and that's just flexibility. You want to be able to go on a vacation. You don't want to have to request time off. If your kid has something to go to, you can go there. You don't have to worry about having to ask a boss. You just want some freedom, flexibility. That's movement. Materials. Obviously, like nice things. You want a nice car. You want the high life. What if there's no high-rise apartments in heaven? You want a high rise right now, right? So I'm gonna live my material thing right now, okay? Then there is social, which is more for your family and friends. You have a family you want to take care of. You have older parents, you don't want them to work anymore. You want to just give back to your family. And then there's status, where you want to be treated a certain way. maybe you want to do business class instead of riding economy because you know business class you're gonna get you a champagne before you even sit down. They cater to you, right? You like being treated like the rich person that you are. So if you're not in, and if none of those resonate, it's because you're in survival mode and you can't even think about.
I gotta go. It's for my life.
Oh my God. Yes, that means that you can't even think about none of that because you're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Oh my.
You know, so
my boy, category 5 right
Nah, that's hard, but I ain't gonna.
It'd be like that.
now. Nah, but he gonna make it out though for sure.
Yeah, he gonna
Absolutely.
You gonna
He's-
figure it
It's
out.
like different season. Different season.
Yeah.
Right. So once you figure, that figuring out how much money you want to make and why you want to make it, then that's at least the keys to help get you in the right direction to getting out of that life and getting out
Most
of
people
the
don't think
survival.
about it like that.
No, because it's just life is happening to you. Like, you have to stop it and take control of your life.
That made so much sense. Like, speaking of like the survivor, right? Like, what do you say to the person or like the young black girl or just like our people? Sometimes we always think like we can't get the better things in life. Like you said earlier, the person was like, "That's for the white man." You were speaking to your homeboy that was like, "That's the white man that can go out on Tuesday and stuff like that." How do you get out of that? Like,
Yeah.
the mindset for that.
You have to first realize that poor thoughts can never develop a rich life. So
Say that one more time.
poor thoughts could never develop a rich life. You will never be rich if you keep on thinking poorly. Okay. And I told this story on my page. I used to have, I lived in like a 600 square foot apartment. I had roaches, all type of roaches, exotic roaches, okay? The albino. I couldn't believe that. I'm like, yo, is that roach white? I
That
did
boy
not.
want to be black.
Yeah. Yeah, they said,
What you doing out here?
I'm like, oh man, hit me. Let me survive. Let me survive.
Bro,
privilege.
I'm not like them boys. I'm not just eating the crumb. It's only steak. It's crazy. You're not gonna see me all night.
Leave some food out.
Listen, it was like I had, it was just, I wasn't in a good situation, obviously. So, and I figured a way out of that, but I wasn't in there like, oh my God, these roaches are my cousins now. Like, no, I just knew that wasn't it for me. And even if you don't know that, you have to start telling yourself that. If you are feeling that way about yourself, you have to change your psychology because that is where everything lies. And this is why most people don't have what they want because they're always looking for a strategy. What should I invest in? Like, no, who should you be? Who do you need to be? Because everything else will fall into line. If I was a person that was always depressed and always looking at what was going wrong, everything will continue to go wrong. You're not going to find the opportunity. Just like if you see a red car. Like,
I just about to say that theory.
Yeah, the red car theory.
I hate the victim mentality.
Yeah, but once you get exposed, you start to see it. But the thing is, I can't even blame them because some people just feel so low in life, like they just can't. They don't think they have a way out, and a lot of times they are using vices to get by. So I would say do a no vice challenge. If you're a smoker, don't smoke, don't drink, and instead of doing that, pick up psychology books, okay? Because like The Power of Now is a good one, just to get things started. Or Rich Dad Poor Dad is something people always recommend to read.
That's a good book though.
It really is.
I think Grow Rich good too.
Yeah. Exactly, and a lot of these books are online for free too. So if you
or even on YouTube, you could YouTube it. They'll
exactly
read it to you like you don't even.
So if
read
you're
it.
somewhere you don't want to be, it's because you're not who you need to be yet, and you have to keep on doing research. Stop looking at things for entertainment. Get off of Netflix and go look at nonfiction stuff, nonfiction books. Like I said, psychology books, self-help books, because that will change your belief pattern. And thoughts lead to beliefs, lead to actions. Okay. You probably wouldn't try crack because you don't think about crack.
Yeah.
You don't believe you're a crackhead, so you're not going to do crack. Okay, I'm sorry, it's like a dramatic, but I have to take it extreme so you could really understand. It's the same thing at any level. If you think you're gonna be poor thoughts lead to poor beliefs. I am poor. Poor beliefs lead to poor actions. Let me go apply for food stamps.
Yeah.
Versus,
I feel like the government,
let me look for a different job.
And the government make being poor seem so sweet that people be fighting.
Yeah.
Hey, lucky you live for cheap.
Free
healthcare. It's like, yo, why I'm trying to be here? That's why I said you go up or you go down.
Like, and like even the middle class, the trick middle class with like all these taxes too is like, so you got to come up, man. Like,
and a good way to get out is learn taxes, like, cause Because people try to check, because Donald Trump, I'm not saying I'm a Trump supporter, he just know business.
Trump 2024.
I think I mean,
he know business. All right, he ran America like a business, and we was up.
Joe Biden's on his way out.
That's all I'm saying.
Everybody was making cheese, man.
I'm telling you.
My pole is itching. You feel me? That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? But with Donald Trump, there was an interview where it was like they really tried to check him. Oh, you don't pay taxes, this, that, and the third. He said, "Duh. Like, why would I? I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing it legally. So." Just because you don't know and I know, you're not gonna fault me for you know what I'm saying.
And he ain't create the rules.
Exactly.
And that goes back to your beliefs because people think like taxes are a burden. It's an incentive code. They tell you, hey, we ain't gonna do housing that good. So if you create housing for people, you get tax benefits. If you go into opportunity zones and develop them, you get benefits. So they're telling you how to save. If you give us this, we will give you it back in taxes. So that's it's an incentive program. If you can understand taxes and do what they say, you're gonna get tax credits. When you have a business, like I can deduct a whole bunch of stuff. I can go to Dubai tomorrow and deduct some of it if I have business meetings in Dubai. Right? So you have to just know what's going on and go do it so you can get rewarded through your taxes. And that's what Trump does.
And you got to make sure it makes sense for you too, because I know somebody they entrepreneur 1099, they deducted so much they couldn't even get a loan because it looked like they made nothing. So like
that's the other thing.
They try to get a loan for something and they deducted so much on their taxes. It looked like they were banked, like they were poor.
You made nothing.
But it was like I can't trust you with bread. You ain't make nothing. But really, you made over 6 figures.
Exactly.
You gotta be smart with
it. Like you money, like you didn't have to pay taxes, but now you can't.
Exactly. In that case, he probably should have done depreciation versus expenses, which is a little bit more technical. But if you depreciate them versus write everything off immediately, the banks will add that back in. And depreciation is just saying if you spent $1,000 on something, you don't deduct it all in one piece. You would just do maybe like $100 a year for 10 years, for example. Okay. So you might end up paying more taxes, but then they'll factor that back in and make it look like your income is higher than it is.
They do that a lot.
Learning what makes sense for the situation.
They do that a lot with real estate. I think that's what Trump did.
Oh yeah, that's like such that's a tax haven. If you have real estate and you rent it out, I mean that's a cash cow.
Do you recommend people to get like a financial advisor?
Oh, that's what I was supposed to ask you. I can't forget. So before you answer that question, because some people they'll get into like financial advising, but it's like, do you even have if your portfolio is big enough to get a financial advisor? Like, do you even make enough money to need a financial advisor? Because there are fees that come with that. Like, you might be losing bread, but
and some of them don't even look out for you like that. Though.
Yeah, and flat rates is better than percentage because if that portfolio grow, they might take some cheap from you.
Yeah, mostly. I think they mostly do it based on the percentage of your assets, like up 1%. Yeah, and the thing about that is that whether the market goes up or down, they still get paid, right? So I do think that it's good to seek some financial help. Maybe not necessarily an advisor that's going to be managing all your assets. I think you need to know, no matter what, at least a little something, so you're not getting taken advantage of. Okay, then a lot of times they don't have a fiduciary duty to you, which means that they don't have to work in your best interest. So if you're gonna get a financial advisor, you want to make sure that they have that, because what they could do is say, this might be a better investment for this person, but this makes me more money. So I'm gonna put them in that.
How you guarantee that though?
You have to ask them. Do you have a fiduciary duty to me?
Oh.
Is it like a contract?
Yeah, it should. Yeah, for sure. It'll say we have a fiduciary duty to you. So if you catch them putting something lying in their pockets, obviously that you could take legal action against them.
Why don't teach that stuff, man?
I ain't even know that.
Why can be scamming you, bro? Like,
yeah, that's why it's
fiduciary.
Yeah, fiduciary.
My best interest at heart.
Exactly. And then a lot of times they only push intangible assets, which is things you can't touch, stocks and bonds. But, a real financial advisor would know about all asset classes. So stocks, bonds, real estate, obviously business, precious metals, crypto. You would want somebody who has at least a general understanding of everything and not just trying to push products that are going to make them
more bread.
More bread, exactly.
On a lighter note, right?
Right, it's levy.
What do you got against my boy Drake, man? I see you posting a lot of Kendrick stuff. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it.
So, come Come on now, I'm a Drake fan, and but he got his behind handed to him. Let's not get played. Don't start lying.
Handed is crazy.
It's accurate. Please explain. Nah, let me ask you this: if Drake did what Kendrick did, had everybody in all around the world screaming, you know, whatever, like K.Ho or something like this, you wouldn't you say he won? Stop it, y'all! You see, Drake fans are not real.
You know, it's crazy. I'm not even a Drake fan.
So then what happened?
It's a big bias though. It's like the whole world.
Because one thing I look at too, when you on top, bro, everybody against you, right?
Yes.
So he really holding his own. Cause don't get me wrong, I gave it 2-2, right? You know.
Okay.
4 rounds. I said it was
tied. It's tied.
It's tied up right now, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
No,
in my opinion, because at first, you know, not including Euphoria, you feel me? Kendrick was dropping. It's like, yeah, I hear you, but like we're in a rap beat, buddy.
Right.
Like get it together. Euphoria, he went crazy. he went stupid.
I'm telling you,
that's the
like,
best.
that was good too.
That was.
I like that. Then I started this whole thing off.
It was great. Yeah.
Like that. I don't like that song.
Yeah, it was great. But it was great. But like, cause that's what I was looking for. Cause when like even Meet the Grams pissed me off. It's like, but it's not a therapy session.
It was a little dark.
Yeah, come at his throat. And then even the Heart 6 was bars. Like Drake.
Yeah, that was a good strategy.
Like,
that was a good strategy as far as like, cause that's Kendrick.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like he gave up in that to me.
Kendrick.
It's like he gave up.
That's the next hard part coming up.
Yeah,
part 6. Kendrick got a
We
drop
over
there.
it.
Yeah,
Nah.
so
Drake lost.
So the Heart
I
Part
don't
6,
wanna hear nothing else.
because that's what I want people to realize. The Heart Part 6, if you really listen to the lyrics, Drake rebutted everything he said and flipped it using the same scheme. It was crazy. But if you put the Heart Part 6 next to the banger, you gotta give it to the banger. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You gotta give it to the banger, and I'm not mad at that. You know what I mean? That's why I gave it 2-2.
Yeah,
Kendrick Drake, because didn't Drake do that with back to back before, and everybody was like,
That's what everybody said. That's what
that's what happened.
If
That's
Drake did
what
that,
happened.
like, yeah, nigga, we
You already did it before, and even
But he
with the
did
back
better.
to back, he waited 17 days.
It was so many people just like everything Drake did. They was like,
It's like, you know you don't like somebody, you know people don't like you.
I like Drake, but he got the crowd activated. So what are you basing?
People don't like you, bro. You're like, even the hard part is that nigga
Yeah.
sound like, bro. Y'all know y'all.
Well, what are you basing it on? Because if you're basing it on the reception of the people spoke. I'm sorry,
Yeah, but
Kendrick
people
had bangers that everybody. There's people in Canada.
Euphoria
Yes,
and
was
the
a
last
banger.
one.
Come on.
Yeah, the Euphoria.
It's about quality, not quantity. I mean, those two. I can't. Yeah, they took over.
You dropped 4 though. But only
I know.
two.
Yeah, 2 hit.
616 is not even on social, or not on music.
The one that Drake dropped, and it's the one that he dropped right before Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams. I forgot the name of that one.
Family Ties.
Something family.
Family
Yes.
Ties.
6 a.m. and something.
No. The family was
Family
Drake.
Ties.
The one of Drake.
Yeah.
That was it.
Family
That
Matters.
was good,
Yeah,
but
Family Matters.
unfortunately,
That was
Kendrick
a
beat him with
Yeah,
strategy.
I hate that, bro. Kendrick
That was good, but strategy wins.
He just messed that up, bro.
Strategy was he
dropped
just
it.
showered with the
Not like us.
If he did it,
Come on.
if he waited like a week,
He couldn't wait.
Drake would have won.
Yeah, he
If he
couldn't.
waited like a week, but that whole
That's
video,
why Kendrick won.
the whole thing was banger. Drake was like, "Yeah, I'm finna end the boy, end that bro." That whole
he went
thing.
crazy.
Yes, he thought
even
he
got,
was.
Like, he even took the van from Good Kid, Mad City, and he threw it to a junkyard and crushed it, saying like, "Bro, you bodied."
Yeah.
That was, but he dropped it.
Yeah,
Immediately. Gave him no time.
Strategy was great.
Exactly. And then that's the strategy is what matters at the end of the day. Who's talking about what more? I mean, you know, and then it's like Kendrick did it for the culture. He released all the rights to the song, so people are making money off of it. That gets people to want to do it, to talk about it even more and post it even more. So I just think he had a way better strategy than Drake did. Drake's been on top a long time. I think he just took he just didn't take it seriously enough.
Still on time.
I think
he is. Yeah, I mean,
you know what I was
saying?
saying?
Ain't really damaged.
And I'm gonna say, like, you remember what Iverson did that crazy cross, but still lost the game. Everybody talked about the
Jordan.
cross.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he crossed Jordan. So,
Yeah.
like, even though he lost the game, everybody
Right.
talking about it, but people forgot that he lost that game.
Yeah,
And that's what I felt they was trying to do to Drake. It's like,
Yeah.
Kendrick crossed him up, but you lost the game by
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that's why, like, I'm you know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to pick and choose because I rock with both of them.
Me too.
But my guy, he can sleep peacefully.
Man, J. Cole, get out of here.
Man.
J. Cole,
J. Cole, he's the winner, bro. But nobody talking about my family, my kids not mine.
Literally.
What do you mean? J. Cole won.
We're not gonna do
He's
that.
chilling at the beach, chilling.
Look, we waiting for the fall off. You feel me? It was really a strategy for real. Like he did that, and then he reneged. So people like, damn, he fell off, and then he gonna drop his album, The Fall Off.
Okay.
Masterpiece. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He had the best strategy. Yeah. I mean, I like Drake a lot. I listen to a lot of Drake music, but I had to admit that it's just Kendrick was being talked about more, and I think that's what's really important.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like both sides had a lot of bots too, cause you see like you click on their profile things, like you don't see nothing in there. Like a lot of both sides.
Yeah. You know how that go.
Cause the views came out like real quick and stuff too.
But playback value.
Family
Drake
Matter.
was up. Family Matter, crazy, but because it's like
that
lasting taste in your mouth, like what you taste last. That's why a lot of people giving it to Kendrick. And I'm not gonna lie to you,
because he got everybody activated.
bro. I'm listening to that, bro. You freaky at you a 69, bro. That's tough. Like
It really is.
I said that just randomly in my head.
Me too, and I didn't even know he was saying fan stood for freaky ass nigga. I thought I was just saying you a fan, but it's an acronym. Yeah, like I'm just
I don't
like,
even want
come on,
to
you
listen to that song.
crafted.
It's tough. It's tough.
He crafted that.
I would have heard.
I heard it. I got so excited. My dad said, bro, he said, bro, you depending on the day, Mark gonna tell you who won, bro. It's gonna be somebody different depending on the day. Cause like whoever I'm bumping that,
it was good though. I ain't gonna lie.
It was good.
For them to be that big, dropping songs like that.
I did appreciate that,
bro. Like within a 3-week span, we got 8 tracks.
That's huge. That's huge.
So, yeah, shout out to both of them.
Last question of the day. Like, do you have to date somebody that make more money than you?
Oh God.
Shut them
Well,
up.
the thing is, somebody could make less than you and still net more, you know? Like, what if they don't have a kid?
Oh,
What if they don't? So,
Hey, that's good. That's a good flip. That's a good flip.
You know what's crazy? Because I be saying that, bro. Because you know my philosophy is like, you can make more than me, but I'm a net more because I eliminate my expenses. So that politician,
that's a good flip.
yeah, you can make less.
Say,
As long as you net more.
what's the bottom line saying? That bottom line, like the bottom line shake, all right? So,
You make $60K, but you know what I'm saying? You net 50. We can talk.
I think a lot of people focus heavily on the dollar amount, but if that person is reckless with their money, then it doesn't even matter
that's true.
how much they made. And a lot of people are like this whole 50-50 discussion too. There are men who could pay for your whole lifestyle, but it's probably not going to be an extravagant one, right? Maybe he could pay all the bills, but you're going to be living calm.
Yeah.
So I think that it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for someone to be taking you everywhere and being super extravagant, you have to remember too that if money is not a thing to them, then it's not significant them spending it on you.
People don't get that concept.
Yeah.
People don't get that
so
concept.
if someone's a millionaire and they're spending $10,000 on you, they don't care about that. They don't care about you.
Yeah,
and it's like some of my homegirls. I really try to like push that on them. Like, yeah, you dealing with the yammers. You feel me? You dealing with the magicians.
What's the yammer?
Oh, it's scammers. Financial magicians.
Magician is crazy.
I got some homegirls. They'll tell me
It ain't my money.
They'll tell me, oh yeah, he took me to this expensive store and he said grab whatever you want, and he's like, you don't want that too? I'm like, he got it. You know what I mean? It come quick, it go quick. You know what I mean? But you can't be mad. You know what I mean? You can't be mad if bruh treat you like regular, because he probably would have did that for anybody.
Exactly. So it's not important. So I think if you're looking for someone, it depends. Some people are looking for that. They don't care. They just want someone to take care of them and their lifestyle. So you would want someone like that. But if you're looking to have a meaningful connection with somebody, and they're super rich, don't think money is a sign of them caring about you. You know, I think a man who makes a decent income but is very generous and takes good care of you says a lot more than someone who's super rich and just tricking on you. If you're looking for a connection for real.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah. That's
So
smart.
question of the day.
Okay.
It's not really a question. It's like what you gonna do in this scenario though. You feel me? Since we switch it up. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a quick background of the situation. So this man, he's been with his dom for 12 years, married for 8. They have a 11-year-old and a 9-year-old. And then recently, like let's say in a 2-month span, she's been sending him a lot of traditional women videos, like, you know, stay at home, cook, clean, but don't work. And then like he started peeping, like, yo, what you trying to say? Like, and then she's like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. And then he was like, realistically, it don't make sense for us right now. You know what I mean? Because we got an 11-year-old, 6-year-old, and he works 80% of the time and spend 20% with the family, and she worked maybe 50 to 40% of the time and then spend the rest with the family. So she probably worked like 6 hours a day. And he's like, there's no reason for you to stay home the 6 hours because they're at school. You know what I mean? And she's like, oh, but if I did, you would always come home to a home cooked meal. He's like, listen, it don't make sense for us right now, right? So she get upset. Now she's withholding sex from him, right? So now it's like he had the roommate. So she withholding sex for 2 weeks, and then one day he come home and he see a lot of presents on the table. So he's confused. And then when he read the title, it's like, oh, best wishes to his wife, like, congratulations on your new journey. He's like, what is this? She walk in, she quit her job.
Oh, dang.
So he spaz out, he leave, he feel disrespect, he go to his parents' house, and then she's blowing him up, he's not picking up. And then his son, the 11-year-old, called him, left a voicemail, Dad, you divorcing mom? You don't love us anymore? And then, like, his mom is on her side because his mom, they're Muslim, his mom is a traditional wife, and so everybody's against him, but he's like, I can't just go back home. Like, maybe, he's like, no, he said, he blocked her, he said, I'm gonna block you, and I want a divorce. Like, what you think would be the best course of action? He finally came to realization maybe jumping quick to divorce is wrong because we made a commitment, but I can't just go back because she disrespect. Like, that's that level of disrespect.
Yeah.
So, like, what would be the best course of action he could take in that situation?
I definitely think if you're married and you honor your marriage, you should not be waving divorce around at all. I think she was definitely foul for going against what they've already discussed. When he gets back to it, I think he needs to put a pen to paper and say, this is our situation. Because some people don't even know. They just say, you work hard, you make a lot of money, you should be able to. But if you really break it out, like, nah, we don't have it like that. Get back in the field. You know? I think that would be helpful. And also, she could be a stay-at-home mom, but still do something else at home. You can make money on the internet. So I could support that, but what are you going to do? Because at the end of the day, if I don't have enough money and it's not like money's going to come around tomorrow, you have to meet me somewhere in the middle. Yeah. I think that they could have done more proper planning and discuss like an exit strategy. Obviously, if she quit the job, it's probably too late for that, but go back and get another job and then let's create an exit plan because
that's smart.
You should support if your wife wants to do that and you think it makes sense and it maybe it will, you know, but map it out, make it make sense financially.
And I think that's what it was too, because he makes enough to support the family, but then he would have to work a little extra and he would have zero time, like less. He already had like only 20% of the time with the family because he takes care of everything already, and that's why she felt like she could quit her job, but she didn't understand that the burden that it really takes a toll. And because it's like he didn't say no, he said not right now. He's like, we could definitely revisit this in like a year or two, or like if we have another kid, of course I want you to stay home and take family. But it's just the fact that she just jumped the gun, disregarded everything he said after 12 years. So it's like, you trusted me to lead you this far. What changed? So, and that's why I said it's like there was so many different red flags that came into play. It's like you can't just go back because now in her head she could strong arm you to do whatever she want. Because she also said like when she quit, don't worry, you'll get over it. Like she said that to him.
No.
I think they should have planned it more too. I think based on the story, I feel like he just told her like, hey, no, we can't do this right now. Like you mentioned, I feel like if they planned it more and he gave her the vision, she would have understand more. Cause she probably in their culture it's probably like that. She probably seeing that all the time. She's like, but your mom ain't have to work, or she's seeing her friends didn't have to work. With him just saying
maybe
no,
not her friends. Let's say her mom.
Yeah, with him just saying, man, nah, you don't quit right now.
No, but they had in-depth conversations. Like he broke it down to. He's like realistically, it don't make sense at the time. You know, you don't work that much anyways. You know what I mean? You work maybe 6 hours a day while the kids are at school, and you're home before the kids come home. So it doesn't make sense. Like you're not gonna be cleaning the house for like 6 to 8 hours every single day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, just keep that little income, and like we could revisit this especially if you have a kid or like, you know, when we get in a better situation. Because the thing is, what if you setting up a game plan to do that for her and she jumped the gun? You know what I mean? So it's like, how did he truly rectify that situation? Because like, that just shows your wife don't respect you.
Yeah, I feel like she's wrong, but I feel like divorce is too extreme.
No. He said that. He said emotion was riled up. He know divorce was that was extreme, but he said he can't just go back there with his tail between his legs.
But it's not. Yeah, I mean, I think people get too caught up in like their pride. It's if you go back to your wife, you're not. You know, you just let her know like this is a boundary that I'm setting. I'm not gonna be able to handle this. You need to go ask for your job back or something because it's not gonna work. And if you can't do that, then we gotta talk about next steps.
Yeah, at least now she'll know he's
yeah, lay it
too,
down.
though.
Like say, hey, you know, you have to get back to work. We can make a plan, but I can't do this. And if you then maybe say, look, we have to separate because you know, don't divorce. But I'm like, I can't handle the whole household by myself. I'm not gonna kill myself.
Yeah.
Straight up. So
And at least
just
now
be
she'll
honest about
believe
what
him
you want.
because she know that he's real passionate about it too.
No,
like,
because it's
he ain't
like,
playing.
Because like I said, like, because when the topic was brought up, I said, at first I said, bro, he probably tripping going straight to divorce, but I see why he said what he said, bro, because there was a lot of red flags. But, you know, being out of the emotion and being logical, like, you'd have to go back and then you'd have to, like, really let her know, like, okay, you do this, it's going to mean less time with me, and I'm going to pay for everything, but where's your income going to come from when you're going to do extracurricular activities? Because I'm not paying for that. I'm going to pay for the house. I'm going to make sure the kids are fed. I'm going to make sure there's groceries in the house. You want to do anything else, where the money going to come from? Not from me.
Right.
And if we had joint accounts, it's going to have to be separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just, you know, for your own security too. I mean, I wouldn't mind someone paying all my bills, but I wouldn't want that to be my only income, just like a job. I mean,
Exactly.
because then if they get mad at you, they cut you off. Now what? Now you had no ends, right? So
No allowance.
you want to have you done messed up your bag. So I think it's always good to have some sort of income, even if you have a man that's super generous. Do your own thing. It keeps you young anyway, having something to do. If like, people who retire and they do nothing, they die sooner.
Yeah, that's why you be seeing a lot of old people in
Yeah,
the
so
public.
you tell her you gonna die if you don't get back to work because you gonna die. You know, you want to keep yourself alive and well and doing something.
Yeah, she should say at least bring up, oh, I want to start a little business.
Like, that would have been different. Like, we could work on it.
Yeah.
Because, like, me personally,
Right.
realistically, at the end of the day, bills got to get paid. Bills gonna get paid. You feel me? So I see myself, you know, long term with my wife. You know what I mean? I'm gonna take up the bulk, but I don't want you to just sit at home. And it's not even. It's two reasons, right? One reason.
Why?
So one reason is you're gonna take your free time and my busy time as neglect. So if you're just waiting Alibaba until I get home until I'm free, it's gonna be a problem.
Facts.
Right? Because now that
never
I'm busy, you're blowing me up like, why you not spending time with me? If you were busy too, you would have asked me why I'm not spending time with you. And two, what if something happens to me?
Exactly. That happens a lot.
Yeah, because I seen this post and it was so real. It says, imagine paying for all of your girl expenses and she not saving up for a rainy day.
I saw that post. Yeah.
Because she always thinks it's going to be good. It's always going to be certain.
And then when time go wrong, she gonna leave you in front of the next cash cow.
Well, let's see if you know who you're dealing with, because obviously the people like that, they show you signs
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the
yeah.
beginning.
Show
Like
you
I see people asking for money on the first day. I'm like, ooh, okay.
Sprinkle.
Yeah. No, you.
All right, we appreciate you, Crystal.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a good combo.
Wanna drop some
Definitely coming back.
Yes, Crystal Todd CPA everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Crystal Todd CPA. I'm worldwide with it.
All right, we appreciate y'all for watching. Comment down below.
If you hey, just comment gems down below.
Yeah,
If you got
and let
some
us
gems from
know
this.
what's your favorite part. Like Crystal said, you
Drop
can
some
reach out to
questions,
Crystal
because I know you
Todd.
got some money questions.
Yeah,
So
everywhere.
let us know what you want to know.
We appreciate it, man. No faking.
Okay.
We out.